All right, guys, we are here. It is Friday night. Peter Stout is in the house. How you doing, Peter?
Doing great. So happy to be here. Good evening, everybody, on this Friday after Christmas. Hope you all had a wonderful, wonderful holiday.
It is the first Friday after Christmas. So It's a happy day to be alive. It's a happy day to be going live here. And I'm super glad. I need to catch up on some comments and see who's with us. I see Tish, Joan. Oh man, Cat San Diego. I think that just said Carol. I just had something cover up some of my comments here, but we're so glad that you're here with us.
Yeah, love this comment. Tomorrow I start to paint the winter challenge. Company has gone home, condo organized, and I'm ready to let paint rule. Let's go.
Love it. I love it. Oh yeah, so good, good. Very fun. Very fun. Yeah, look at this. I mean, this is like what we could just be like going like this and just going, look at everybody showing up. Melbourne, Australia. Good to see you. Laverne.
Jack
Man,
Dorsey.
So good, so good. And I like this one too. Party time. That's right. It is party time. Okay. Yep. So I want to show you right off the bat here, because we're going to be giving away a painting tonight, right? So you have the chance to win one of these paintings, and it's your choice. In the end, it's your choice. So I'll switch gears. I'm going to switch to a different screen here, and I'll show you the paintings. So painting number 1 is this painting, which I did as a demo for the amazing Acrylic University. But this is painting number 1. So if you want to win that, if you win, you have that choice. You also have this choice, which is another. The first painting is a 12 by 16. This is a 12 by 12. This is actually a 30-minute miracle right here, which I did, and you can see on YouTube. And this is the last one. This is a painting I did a couple years ago. Peter and I were just trying to remember if I did it. I think I did it I did the first part of it at one of our master classes, but I don't remember for sure exactly. So anyways, you have to stick around with us, and we will reveal the way that you'll win later in the night. But those are your 3 choices. If you win, we will send you one of those paintings.
Yes, sir.
Peter, what do we need to go over?
Not much. I think your dad is here. That's cool.
Awesome. Dad, good to see you.
Yeah. The only thing, guys, you only have a few days left. If you haven't already gotten a miniature challenge, be sure to go miniaturechallenge.com.
Oh, perfect.
You can get a year of painting at a really good price. So time is running out to get yourself that deal before the holiday sale ends. So be sure to do that if you haven't yet.
Yeah. And tonight we're going to be looking at the challenge that I did most recently. It is a 52-week challenge. So it's all year, and it's inspiring landscapes. That's the idea behind it. We went to every one of the states, not literally went there. That would have taken a lot of time and stuff, but I've been to a lot of states. We got a lot of reference photos from a lot of people, and we did what we call paint across America. So think about all the diversity in the United States. I mean, you've got Northeast, Southeast, Midwest, South. I mean, you got like all over. Then you got the West. I mean, you got just this vast variety of subject matter. And so what I did is I took all those places, took a reference photo, and painted a scene from each place. And so tonight we are actually going to go right here to West Virginia. I'm not going to show you too long, but that's what we're going to watch tonight. Cool. So without further ado, Peter, you want to start that up?
Yeah, let's do it.
we're going to stay in right here with you guys, and we're going to be here. I'll move that out of the way.
Yeah, go for it.
So you guys can see, but we're going to be just answering questions and things like that. So if you have any questions as we go, make sure you shout them out in the comments, and we're going to be here. And like I said, at the end, we're going to give away one of these 3 paintings. So stick with us.
Yes.
That book, man, I am working on it. It's one of my back burner projects that I have in the back of my mind, and I do little steps on it as we go. And I just need to take a day probably, or a good set of time, and just devote some time to it. And it could be, I think I could get it available, but I need to do a little bit of work to make that happen.
Yes. But we'd love to do that for you guys. Yeah.
Peter, has not this been really fun to do to walk through all the different challenges that we've done, the 52-week ones? And
it has. And it was crazy because when Diana was here last week, she said something like, I released my challenge 2022, and I was like, was that only 2 years ago? Like, we've done so much in such a short amount of time. It's crazy.
So wild. Yeah. It is amazing. I lose track of time sometimes too, because I think part of it, is like you say, time flies. Things like these projects are big projects, so it feels like it's so much work to actually get one of these done, that I think there's maybe a psychological thing that says it must have been like 4 years ago, because there's no way.
No, I know. And then I've done like multiple of them. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
We need to think about what we're going to do next year now that you mention it.
Hey, look at this. Somebody says it looks like a reindeer's head, I think is what they were trying to say.
Oh,
and it kind of
does.
If you that's just an extra little Merry Christmas for you.
Yes. 100%.
This is an 8x8 canvas here. So these are small canvases. They're very doable. This whole painting will take about 43 minutes or something like that. I take a little bit longer than 30 minutes on them. In the very first challenge I did, I really tried to get done within a couple minutes of my 30-minute timer. And in this one, I often would let it roll. The 30 minutes would come and go, and then I just keep on going for another 10, 15 minutes. Just because I think that I felt a little bit more like, I don't know, I wanted to get the finished product. Part of it was my brother gave me the idea that we should make a book out of the paintings. And so I think I wanted them to look good.
Yeah.
I just use normal Scotch tape. I see that question. I use normal Scotch tape to tape down the canvas, because I put it down and I usually take it up within a couple hours or something, or the next day. So I never have any real problems.
Sherry just finished number 4 of the winter challenge. Has been a great painting day. So awesome. Should share it with the community.
That is great.
Someone asks, is your first layer transparent paint?
These layers are thin, but I wouldn't necessarily say that it's totally transparent, because I've got titanium white in there, and titanium white is an opaque color. So it's never going to be completely transparent. But these are thin. They're not and they're going over white. So you do see some of the white underneath kind of showing through every once in a while, which makes it feel more transparent. So not technically transparent colors, but the way that they're being applied is they're thin, and they do appear a little bit transparent. Yeah, these were fun. I think the 8x8s is a good size to yeah, it still looks like a reindeer over there.
It does.
I'm trying to figure out how long it will look like a reindeer and if I'll get that reindeer out of my head or not. I don't know. But the 8x8s are good size. I don't know how many I started on a white canvas, but I did start a few of them on white just because I knew that I would be able to cover it all fairly quickly. That's not the normal way that I paint, but okay, see, what's the difference between titanium and zinc white? Titanium white is more opaque and zinc white is more transparent.
Yep.
I see somebody asking how, I see this question, what acrylics have you substituted from cadmium yellow light? And then it says, I meant yellows. What yellows have you substituted for cadmium yellow light? I have not substituted really any colors for cadmium yellow light. The only one that I found that I will use is in Liquitex. They have cadmium free yellow light. And I don't know what they use to make that, but I find that it works very similarly to cadmium yellow. And so I will use that. But I've never actually intentionally gone and tried to find a different yellow that works, because every time I do, they seem like they don't have the coverage that cadmium yellow has. So
Yeah.
I tend to keep buying cadmium yellow. Hello from the Arizona desert, Cheryl. Welcome. Glad you are here.
Definitely. Are you painting on a desk?
You know, I'm actually painting on a slight, it's kind of like a big workstation. I have this large table-like thing that I put wheels on so I can roll it around. And then on that, I have this inclined, I don't know what you would call it. It's like a drafting table in a way that, you know how those are usually at a little bit of an angle?
Yep.
So I don't know if you can see me, but my hand is, I'm trying to like do about the angle that the table's at. It's something like that. And the reason I do it is because I have a camera above, and I'm it hurt my neck when I had it totally flat. So I tilted it up just a little bit so that I didn't get a bad neck.
Was a good move.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, reminds me of you at the rental house, and you had like everything propped up on a box or like two boxes.
Oh man, I've done all sorts of things at different times.
Yep.
To try to make things work.
You got to do what you got to do.
I see this question. It says, when the acrylic is thin, does it crack or peel off the canvas when dry? And, you know, I was under the impression that if it was too thin, that often it could have some problem adhering to the canvas. But a couple years ago, Brian Buckrell told me about the Golden website. And if you go to Golden Acrylics, he said that there was an article on there that actually went against that idea, that said it's okay to thin your paints down with water. And so I don't know, you know, what extent that is. I've heard both.
Yeah.
My train of thought is, if I'm going to thin it a lot, and I know I'm not, you know, I'm worried about that, I will use something like airbrush medium, because airbrush medium will thin the paint, but it has the polymer in it, so it's not water, and it will adhere just like paint would. So that's one way to thin the paint without losing any of the essential acrylic material. And if I'm thinning it with water only, I will just use a smaller amount. That's the approach I have.
How do you clean up your palette when you're done with the painting?
Okay, good question. I just take my palette knife and I clean off the middle areas where I've done my mixes if there's a lot of paint in there. Sometimes I'll do it in the middle of a painting. You might see in this one that I do it later. I can't remember if I do it in this or not, but usually I will probably need to, like during a painting session, just because I probably need to make a clean color at some point later in the painting.
Gotcha.
So I'll take a palette knife, I'll scrape off all the excess paint, and then I'll take a paper towel and I will kind of wash it with my paper towel.
Very cool. Just wanted to say welcome, Linda. This is my first live. I usually watch the replay. Yay. Good to have you.
Awesome.
This is an interesting question. Does having your dad on here make you nervous? Tell us something about your dad.
Oh, man. Well, so one thing I would say right off the bat is I'm not sure if it's my dad or it's my mom. It could be my dad or my mom because, you know, you have to come on in it with an account. So if it's under Jack Dorsey, again, it could be my mom or my dad, or could be both of them. Does it make me nervous? First question. No, it doesn't make me nervous because they're very supportive and they're very kind. So it doesn't make me nervous. Although I always still want to please them. I want to do my best, you know, and honor them in whatever way that I can. So, but what's kind of funny is, so my dad, I was painting over at their house yesterday, and it was kind of funny. I had this painting going, and my mom was there and my dad was there, and I can't remember exactly what he said, but my mom said something like, "Oh, it's looking really good." And my dad said, "Oh, he's got a lot of work left to do on that one," or something, you know, something that was kind of like, "Oh, there's a lot that you still need to do." And I was thinking, well, it's pretty, I've done a lot. There's, you know, I know there's still work to do on this, but I was thinking it was pretty good. And then he said, "Ha," or something like, "I'm just joking. I was just seeing what Jed would say," you know, if I said that. So my dad's actually got a pretty good sense of humor. He pulled a joke on our nephew the other day where he gave him a present that was completely empty on the inside. And it was just a payback for my nephew always pulling pranks on him. And the funny thing was that it totally fooled my nephew. And so anyways, just kind of a funny, yeah, that's a little inside information on my dad. My dad's a great man.
He is.
I love him with all my heart. And I'm thankful for my mom and my dad very, very much.
Yeah. I respect him a lot. He's real all the way down.
Yeah.
Deb, anxious to start Paint Canada's roll out in the first. I think the first lesson actually came out this morning. So not positive about that, but John L and I were making sure that everything is ready to go for today. I might have misspoke on that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if you bought it, definitely check your products.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
You might have gotten an email. Okay. Hi from Alabama, Creative Ken. Glad to have you. Brian. Oh, do you paint Fernie on your way across? Oh, Fiona asks, Brian, do you paint Fernie on your way across Canada? So I don't know, actually. Brian, if Brian's here, we'll let him answer that. I'm not sure. Yeah. Diane says, I got to have breakfast with your folks last October. Wonderful people. And she's referring to when I had a workshop here, they invited people over for breakfast on one of the mornings. And so some of the participants in the workshop were able to go over and have breakfast. And this is another thing. Frankie, I know that's not your real name. I'm pretty sure that's not your real name, but I always forget what your real name is. But anyways, says Jack Dorsey is an amazing watercolor artist, which is absolutely true.
Yep.
And I think I probably have a book of my dad's somewhere here that I could show. And here's the thing, guys, you can actually be supportive of my dad in this way. I got him set up with some recording equipment. And actually just about 2 hours ago, he called me and he said, hey, I'm trying to record a video here. And he had a couple questions. He was asking me about how to get just the camera working correctly and things like that. And so anyways, I'm sure he would love your encouragement to keep trying, because it's kind of tricky sometimes when you're trying to figure out how to make technology work and everything. But I'm just hoping that we can get a few great lessons from him, because he's kind of like a master watercolorist. I mean, he was the president of the Northwest Watercolor Society. He's painted so many different things over the years, and just commissions. He's had solo exhibits at the Fry Art Museum in Seattle. He's had a solo exhibit in Japan, and so he's kind of a legend in the watercolor world. So anyways, I think it would be really cool to get some teaching on video from him. So hopefully we can get that figured out.
Yep. That would be fun. Let's see.
Oh yeah. So Karen says, yes, you are correct. I viewed the first lesson today. So there you go. If you signed up for something, I actually would have gotten one of them today. It's that picture number 3 from Fort Worden, Whidbey Island. Oh, I'm not sure what you're referring to in picture number 3. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, you're looking at the painting, number 3. No, I don't believe it is from Whidbey. But I honestly can't remember exactly where I got that. Reindeer now looks like a mean moose. That's good.
Someone said it looks like a reindeer on top of a bear head. I can see that too.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to start looking at the waterfall now, because that's going to be distracting for me. The rock face. Oh, funny. I'm fascinated by how that water. Oh, I like this waterfall in Virginia. I'm fascinated, I see, at how this water is being created. I think that the thing that's tricky for me sometimes is looking at a scene and thinking, oh my goodness, that's so complicated. I don't know how I would ever paint that. And then allowing some of that fear to keep me from trying. And what I've found is that when I force myself to try to paint a scene that might feel hard or difficult, is that if I just look and observe closely enough, I can kind of start seeing, okay, this is the color there. All you're actually looking for is a color, like a color and a shape, and the transition between shapes and things like that. And you just start seeing, okay, this is a little bit lighter than that. It's a little bit more red than that. It's a little bit more, blue than that, and you just kind of compare things as you're putting paint down and look back and forth between the reference. And it's like, I don't know, sometimes I'll look at a painting and I don't think anything's looking good, or it's not really looking like what it's supposed to look like. But if I just keep working, eventually a lot of times I look back and I go, oh, hey, look, now I can tell that it looks like water. Oh,
yeah,
those marks that I made, now oh, okay, yeah, now it looks like a tree. But when I first put the mark down, it didn't look like a tree at all. It didn't look like water at all. It looked, just out of context. But if you keep working and observing and putting that in place, you'll actually surprise yourself with what you can paint.
Absolutely. This person says, I'm liking this painting already. Where's everyone looking at other videos? So we do stuff on YouTube, but we have a paid membership and stuff like that. But they're talking about the miniature challenge, which is one painting every week for a whole year. And that's on sale until the end of December. So some people have started that already.
And we have a few different options. This is the Paint Across America one that we're watching right now. One of the ones that I did.
Yes.
So I just saw something that I wanted to. Oh, this is funny. Tammy says, well, I showed up an hour early, got interrupted, and now I'm late, but I'm here. Well, we're glad that you're back. Yes, I see a bear head. Oh, no. Too funny. Oh, I guess I'm back a ways on my comments because
there are 532 people watching. Crazy.
Yeah. Welcome. Glad to have you guys here today. And I showed the paintings at the beginning, but I want to just say it again. There are 3 paintings. And if you win tonight, if you stick with us, we're going to tell you how you can win one of those paintings, and it will be your choice of which one you want.
Yep.
But you have to kind of stick with us for a little bit longer, and right after the demo's done, we'll go over how you can win.
Sure will.
Doest.
The miniature challenges, wonderful learning sessions. I've done 2 so far, starting Brian's next week. Let's go. I think I will definitely take a mini challenge when I start diving into acrylic painting.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, man.
Yeah.
Love the 52-week challenges, doing Jed's landscapes, and have Diana's next in line. So one of the things that, I know that sometimes I'm just trying to think about how to word this. It would be easy for me to just say, hey, I think you should do this because I want you to do this. And that's true. I want you to do this. I think it's a good thing. But the thing that helps me when I'm trying to, if I'm thinking, well, I don't want to try to convince somebody to buy this. So my goal is not to coerce you or, try to get you to do something that you don't want to do. What I want to do is actually share with you how this will help you grow. And the cool thing is we have different challenges available. Did we count five that are a year long? So you have your choice of one of 5 different ones that would take you all year, or there's a handful of other ones that are much shorter, like 8 weeks, 10 weeks, or 12 weeks. So if you just want to take a bite-sized nibble, but still get some really incredible results and growth, take a look at those shorter ones. But the growth that I've seen in people that stick with them and walk all the way through them is quite tremendous. We talked about this the last time, but there was a guy that had never painted before, and you saw his first couple paintings and you thought, oh yeah, it makes sense. He's never painted before. He's just trying to figure out, he doesn't even really know how to mix colors, right? I mean, and I'm not being mean. I'm just saying you can tell where he was at. But by the end of it, it was incredible the amount of growth that he had. And he was saying how people were coming up to him and they were wanting to buy his artwork and stuff. And he didn't need to sell them at all because he was retired and he didn't need the income. So he had ended up just giving away. But it was just such a thrill to him to have people want his work. And if you saw the beginning paintings compared to the end paintings, you go, that's amazing.
Yep.
And so we created these for that reason, so that you'd have a really easy way to just plug away at your growth. Take one little step at a time, 1 week at a time. If you get behind, that's okay. If you don't want to paint one of them because the subject isn't interesting to you, that's okay. There's a lot more that you can do later. And you have them not just for the year. You can come back to them the next year or the next year after that. You basically are getting them for life.
Yes.
So what would you recommend for an absolute beginner? Hey, Peter.
Yeah.
She asked this. I think that the simple shapes is the best challenge.
Agreed.
If
That's
you're
what I was doing.
Yeah, total beginner, simple shapes.
Yep. I just put a link in there for you, Sheila. Yeah, we have one where Diana just does a handful of paintings that are based on like the simplest shapes. We're talking like circles and cylinders, stuff like that. But it's the basics of the stuff that you use all over the place for painting. So it's very, very cool course.
You know what I just realized, Peter? I'm gonna edit this real quick, and I'm gonna put the use coupon code part in there too. Because I just saw somebody ask a question about the cost. Is it in US or Canadian dollars? It is in US dollars, but we have a coupon code there. And if you are here, it's your lucky day because you can save 15% by just using that. Save 15, simple. And that'll get you quite a good discount on any of the challenges that are there on the site. You just have to click through, get to the checkout page, and type in that save 15.
Very cool. So real quick, we have 2 minutes left in this demo. I just want to say,
no, we have more than that, Peter, because I go past the.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind then. Talk about that later. This is a good question or concern. My problem is I can follow you so well. It's when I have to make my own decisions that I choke and overthink, not try to build confidence in making my own decisions.
That's a really good question or observation. But what I would say is you probably are more capable than you're giving yourself credit for, and you're probably doubting your decisions more than you would need to. What I've found is that my paintings go through an ugly stage most of the time. Most of the time, there is a part of the painting process that doesn't feel quite right. And sometimes it's easy to either doubt what I was doing in those moments and change direction prematurely or give up on it prematurely. And sometimes what you need to do is just keep going with it. Now, I say that just as an encouragement because that could be the case for you. But I would also say that having a good plan at the beginning of your painting is also really, really important. So taking the time to do a thumbnail sketch, for instance, taking the time to transfer your sketch onto, your canvas panel, taking the time to block in the colors. Well, that process of what I think of as a 5-step process where you start with the design, you do a drawing on your panel, you block in your colors, you start to refine and adjust those things, and then you come and you finish the painting. What I've found is that it's not a guarantee that every painting is going to turn out, but at least kind of gets you on the right path. And what I think is, I've used this illustration about walking through a city, and the first time you go through a city, you don't know anything, you don't know where you're going. It's a one-way street. You get turned around, all these kinds of things. But if you live there long enough, you realize that there's not just one way to get to the other side of the city. There's 100 different ways. And so if you ever found yourself lost, you would just look around and you go, oh, okay, I remember, okay, I can go down this street and that way and this way and that way. And you find your way. And I think that painting is very similar. And it might be time that you actually watch a demo, but don't do that reference photo. Watch a demo, try to engage with what was going on, but then paint your own reference photo every time so that you get really used to not the copy, but what the next step would be, which could be you're not imitating, but you're emulating, right? You're not taking the exact brush strokes, but you're taking the ideas that you saw and you're putting them into practice in a similar context on a similar type of scene, but different enough that you are learning how to make those decisions on your own. And I think that a lot of that is going to be a confidence builder for you. So anyways, that's my encouragement. I know that was kind of long, but I hear you, Fib, and I just want you to feel like you can do it.
Yeah.
Just need to take the right baby steps in that direction and gain that confidence that I can do this.
Yeah, for sure. I also think it can help to, when you're following Jed or following a tutorial, try to think about proactively think about, okay, he put down this brushstroke, then I put down this brushstroke. What did that do to the painting? What effect did that have? As opposed to just following it over and over, if that makes sense. Because I know for me learning drawing, I can copy people. Okay. But what really helps me is when I think, okay, I copied this guy's, what he did. This is the effect it had in the drawing. And then when I encounter similar situations in the future, that pops up back into my head. And I'm like, oh, that's right. When he ran into this specific thing, he did this kind of thing. And I understand why. And that kind of cements itself more in my brain. And it's a process, it takes time, but slowly but surely you'll go, oh, I don't need as much help as I thought I did. I can put down a few more brush strokes without having to look back and.
Yeah. Thanks for your clarification on that member thing. And I like what Dale says here. Your decisions are what make your artwork yours. Don't try to copy Jed's or any other artist's decisions. And I totally agree with that. I think that there is a time to copy. I think that there's an appropriate way to copy because you don't know anything necessarily. And so you just need to get going and get figuring out how are you doing this. And the easiest way is to just go copy. I have paintings over here that are master copies that I've done. And I wasn't watching the person paint it, but I was trying my best to figure out how did they do this, right? And I learned from that. I'm like, whoa, they mixed a color that was way darker than what I would have mixed.
Yeah.
I learned a bunch of stuff from copying as closely as I could, masters. But the truth of what Dale was saying is that your decisions are really what make you and make your artwork your own. And so you want to take that next step into that. Totally. I love that so much.
The
what was another one? And Diane says, yeah, using your reference photo, your own reference photo, just how helpful that is. Sometimes just having the experience of being in a place is, it gives you a little bit of extra inspiration. The ugly stage is a killer, but the more you paint, the more you trust the process and build confidence to get through it. That's what I think happens is that it's that idea of being in a city and living there long enough to realize that, okay, yeah, I might feel lost right now, but I know, oh yeah, that's the way. But you don't know that until you like get that experience and keep going with stuff.
Yep. 100%. First time watching and already learning. Good to hear. We are so glad you're with us. Very cool.
Oh, I like your picture there too.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Where can I find all the challenges to choose from? Miniaturechallenge.com.
Yeah.
All laid out for you. Diane Sar, my hubby made dinner so I could be here. That's awesome.
Oh, congratulations to your husband.
Yep.
That is kind. Yeah, I see somebody say, I wish this was one of the paintings you were giving away. And we were talking about that beforehand. And I sold all of these paintings probably a year and a half ago or something. So none of them are actually available, unfortunately. Is that a letter R in the waterfall? It looks a little bit like a letter R.
Yeah, it does. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm like trying to squint my eyes. I think I see what you're talking about, but then I could be wrong. I'm not going to talk about the bear anymore or the antlers anymore.
Someone said, to be fair, the reference photo looks like it has a bear and antlers.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Yeah.
It kind of does. Too funny. Jeannie says, how do you price your paintings? That is just a wonderful question. And I have just a pricing list that's based on square inches that I have worked from for a long time. That's my main reference point. Art is not what you see, but what you make others see. Yes. Great quote from Edgar Degas. Yeah, there's so many cool quotes that I love from historical artists. We have a huge list of them, but it's a B for bear. Oh, somebody says the the letter is B for bear. I see the R. Yeah, I think that top section, I saw somebody comment saying that the colors or the atmosphere at the top was nice. And I actually, this is one of I really like the way that this painting turned out. It was really fun to paint. And I think that it's the beginning things that I put down were just kind of, they're just kind of scribbled on. They weren't really, I wasn't really like trying to make the tree shapes or anything like that too much, but then carving them out later with some of the negative shapes was so helpful to show those, and it's just enough. And I like that. I kind of like the just enough kind of painting where you don't overly do something, but you're able to see what it is.
Yeah, I also love the atmosphere up top in the sky is so good. It really gives it like that dense kind of canopy look. It's really cool.
Yeah. And there's something about the light I really love in this picture. Just it feels like the golden, I think I called it Golden Falls or something like that.
So pretty.
Sarah asks, am I the only one who only has audio? Oh, you can't see what's going on. You might need to refresh your page. I don't know if that's the problem. Yeah, this painting, I haven't been paying attention to whether or not I've switched brushes. I see somebody asking just one brush for the whole painting, Cindy says, and I can't remember. I might have switched I might have switched brushes somewhere in here. I often will hold more than one brush in my offhand and switch back and forth. If I have a light color and then a dark color, I might be going back and forth between a couple brushes, but I might have all the same size as well. And this is, I think, a number 6 flat. No, Susan, I did not use a rake brush for the waterfall. I just used my normal flat brush. Oh, I've only audio and only half a page of the video. Huh. I don't know what's going on, Sarah. I really apologize. It's not that way on our end, and I'm guessing on 99% of the people here because we would have heard a lot more comments about it. This is very kind of you, Julie. I'm glad you say I love not only the demo, but all the questions, explanations, and comments. So many gems of knowledge. Love the waterfall. It's so frothy and powerful now. I think that water itself is just such a cool subject. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
And this is honestly, like I said earlier, if you were here, I really like the way that this painting turned out. And I was a little bit surprised, to be quite honest, because it was the first time in a long time I painted a scene like this. But I think that what I've found is that if you just kind of keep observing things, a lot of times things turn out better than the individual parts. It's like the sum of the whole painting is it works together. The size of the canvas, Patty, is an 8x8.
Perfect. So we're kind of drawing near the end. So just want to let you know, guys, if you want to enter the giveaway, all you got to do is put a message in chat. That's it. Say something nice. Say where you're from, whatever.
Okay, and I saw this question. I want to get it before the chat blows up. Did you mix your red and blue for your black? Nice you use a limited palette. Yeah, I like the limited palette. It's really wonderful to just simplify decision-making and learn a ton about color mixing. And no, I actually have a Mars black color down there on my palette. So sometimes I will mix a black. In this case right here, I have black on the palette.
This is such a good question. I wondered this too. Jed, while watching yourself paint this, do you question yourself about your approach?
Oh my goodness. I think it's so funny, Harry, because I watch a lot of demos after the fact when I'm watching it with other people. So I will do a demo, I'll record it, and then sometimes I'll watch it and I'll chat with people. Like I did that this morning with members of Acrylic University. And the funniest thing to me is if you knew what was going on in my head when I'm painting, I have so many questions about what I'm doing in the moment. Sometimes I'm just problem solving. I'm trying to figure things out. And then I'm trying to explain to somebody who's wanting to learn, like, this is what I'm thinking about. So what I find is, in reality, I'm like, I don't even know what I'm thinking about right now. I'm just trying to say I'm confused a little bit. This is hard. I don't know what I'm doing, but I hope that you're getting something out of it. And so then for me to step even further away and to watch it and then hear myself try to explain what I'm doing. And then sometimes, oh man. And then what's funny is I'll make a decision and I know somebody is not going to like it. I'll change, like this morning, I changed the color of the sky of a painting. And I knew that I'd get some flack for it. I knew people would be like, oh, I like the old sky better, So I'm kind of anticipating things sometimes, as I'm watching it. But yeah, I sometimes it makes me cringe, man. I know every once in a while, I know this demo really goes through an ugly stage and I make some really bad decisions here or something. And it's very hard for me to watch it, but I have to. So funny.
Such a great question, though.
Okay, so the demo's done, guys. And So we are going to look at this. I see people writing comments. I love this demo. I saw somebody write whatever was their comment because you said say whatever. Where is that?
Always the literalist. Always the literalist.
Yeah. Oh, funny. Oh, I see another one. Favorite brush make. Karen, my favorite brush right now is the Princeton Aspen Flats. They're a great brush. Okay, guys, we're going to give this painting away.
Yeah, let's do it. We're going to choose a winner. Little robot man is going to
give you 10 more seconds to type your message in chat. That's how you're going to win. And like we said before, I will show you guys really quickly here what the 3 options of the paintings are. And I'll do it in the same order that I showed you before so that it's not confusing. This is option number 1. This is option number 2. And this is option number 3. So you have your choice. If you win this today, you can choose one of those 3. So Peter, are we ready to do this?
I did pick somebody. We have
okay.
Janet Dewhurst. Congratulations.
All right.
You won the giveaway.
Janet.
You want to support. Also, drop a comment so we know you're here.
Yeah, show us that you're here. You have a bit of time to show us that you're here, and but we're excited to send this painting your way.
Yes.
Whoa, man! A lot of comments came through.
I know the comments are. Oh, Janet says thank you. Yep. Okay, it's in there.
Awesome.
Here, she's thank you here. Okay.
Okay, good.
Janet.
So glad.
Just won yourself a painting.
Janet, which one did you say you wanted? Can you let me know which one you wanted?
Yeah, she hasn't said yet, but do let us know.
Yeah, and I'll show you one more time, just so you can see it again. This is number 1. This is number 2. And this is number 3. So let us know which one you want. And just do a little description. That would be helpful.
Yep.
Just to make sure that we know, in case your numbers somehow ended up different than my numbers.
She says tonight's. Unfortunately.
That's not available.
It's already in collector's hands. She says number 2.
Oh, she says number 2. Okay, number 2 it is. Sounds good.
Yep.
Sounds great, Janet.
Make sure to email us, so we can get your address.
Yeah, email us at support@Acrylic University. Yeah, you guys, and remember also that you have a few more days to take advantage of this great deal and the 15% off on all these miniature challenges. There are quite a few to pick from. We believe that you are creative. We believe that you are way more creative than you could ever imagine. Now, that could look like cooking food in an amazing way. I'm very thankful that my wife is very creative that way and makes amazing meals, but she's also creative in art, and she's also creative in a lot of different things. So you might not realize that you're creative in art and painting, and you might want to give it a shot. A miniature challenge is a great way to do it because you're going to be painting smaller paintings. They're not a huge commitment, and you'll learn a lot through the process of starting and stopping these paintings. Yep. So we're glad that you were with us tonight. Thank you for being here. Peter, do you have anything else you want to say?
I don't think so. Such a great evening. I love lots of people showed up today. The chat was really supportive and just super positive. I always leave these feeling like very energized and like, yes, that was good. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Good times. And we will be doing more giveaways. We will be doing more of these live streams. So stay tuned, everybody. Love you guys.
Love you guys. Have a great weekend.
Believed in.